Hello friends, my name is Mrs. Ritter and I am a kindergarten teacher at Virginia Heights Elementary School. And today I'm here to read one of my most favorite books to you all. It is called The Kissing Hand. And The Kissing Hand was written by Audrey Penn and it's illustrated by Ruth E. Harper and Nancy M. Leake. Do you all know what the illustrator does? The illustrator is the one who draws the pictures and paints the pictures, all of the pictures in the book. The illustrator is the one who does that. And the person who writes the book, who knows what that is called? That's called the author, right? And the author of this book is called Audrey Penn. And Audrey Penn is the one who wrote The Kissing Hand. And I'm going to read this story today with a friend of mine. This friend's name is Chester. Chester, you might hear about Chester in this book, okay? So let's look at this front cover. Do you all notice anything about this front cover? What are some of the things that you notice? Yeah, maybe you notice two raccoons, and maybe even a moon. Sure. Okay, what does that make you wonder about this book? I wonder why they have a big moon on the front of this cover. And I wonder what the two raccoons are talking about or what are they doing on this front cover. Maybe we'll have to read this story to find out what's going to happen. Okay, so this is the front cover like we talked about. This is the spine of a book. The spine of the book actually keeps the book together just like the spine in our body. Okay, a spine in our body keeps us up straight and so does the spine of a book. So this is the front cover. This is the spine, and this, friends, is my back cover. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this. And in many books, this looks like what? What does this page look like? Yeah, it looks a lot like the front cover, doesn't it? Yes, this page is called the title page. And the title page actually is going to look a lot like your front cover. It's going to have your author's name, your illustrator's name, and pretty many times the same picture as your front cover. Now, some books also have what we call a dedication page. Now, a dedication page is the page that is in a book to tell who the book was written for. And the author and the illustrator sometimes will dedicate books to people that they really care about. And this book was written for Stephanie Rebecca Corrin and children everywhere who love to be loved. Do you all love to be loved? I love to be loved. I bet you guys do too. So let's read this story and see why they're talking about people or things that love to be loved. Chester, raccoon, stood at the edge of the forest and cried. I don't want to go to school, he told his mother. I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you? I wonder how he's feeling. Wonder why he's crying. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. Sometimes we will have to do things we don't want to do, she told him gently, even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. How do you think he's feeling now? You think he's still a little bit sad? Let's keep reading. You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books, and swing on new swings. Besides, she added, I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights in school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home. Friends, did you hear that Chester's going to school at night? How is that different than the school that you all go to? Wonder why he has his school at nighttime. Does anyone know what the word is for things that are awake during nighttime? Those are called nocturnal, and Chester is a raccoon. And raccoons are nocturnal. That means they're awake at night and they sleep during the day. So most of the time, unless there's a sick raccoon, you won't see raccoons during the day, just at nighttime. So Chester's going to go to school in the nighttime. Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. A secret? What kind of secret? A very old secret, said Mrs. Raccoon. I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand. The kissing hand? Asked Chester. What's that? Look, who's he looking at, I wonder? I'll show you. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester's right hand in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss run from his hand up his arm and into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Ah, look what he's got on his hand. Can you see it? Can you see it, friends? What does he have? Oh, look. Does that look like the book? Can you see that? Does that look like it? Mrs. Raccoon smiled. Now, she told Chester, whenever you feel lonely and you need a little loving from home, just press your hands to your cheek and think, Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you. And that very kiss will jump from your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts. Wow, I wonder how Chester's feeling now. You think he likes his kissing hand? She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. Now, do be careful not to lose it, she teased him. But don't worry, when you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will stick. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him whenever or wherever he went, even to school. Now, friends, how do you think he's feeling about going to school? That night, now remember, he's nocturnal. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. Give me your hand, he told her. Wonder what he's going to do. Wonder why he wants Mom's hand. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. What's happening, guys? Now you have a kissing hand too, he told her, and with a gentle goodbye and I love you, Chester turned and danced away. How do you think Chester's feeling now, friends? Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper. Scamper, I wonder what scamper means. Let's read this in a sentence and see if you can figure out what the word scamper means. Chester scamper across a tree limb and enter school. So scamper means to sort of run, to scurry, to run off. And as the hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. Chester loves you, it sang. Chester loves you. The end. Friends, Do you love this book as much as I do? I hope you do, because this book helps us to realize that it's okay to be nervous and afraid sometimes, and that there are always people there to help us. If we just talk to people and tell them how we're feeling, people are more than willing to help us, just like Chester and his mom. Let's talk about the characters in this story, friends. What does the character mean? When we talk about the characters, what are we talking about? The characters, yeah, you're right. The characters are the people or animals who is in the story. The who of the story are the characters. Who can tell me of a character that might be in this story? Exactly, yeah, Chester. And we have him here today, don't we, friends? Yeah, we have Chester. Chester is a what? Raccoon. Yeah, and who could tell me what the fact we learned about raccoons real quick? What's that word? What's that big, long word that means they are awake at night and asleep during the, you're right, nocturnal. Very good. And a raccoon is nocturnal. Right. So Chester, the nocturnal raccoon, is a character. Who's another character? Exactly. Mrs. Raccoon is a character. And somebody even said Hoot Owl. Yes, you're right. Hoot Owl is a character as well. Okay. So those are some characters that we've heard about in the story. Now, who could tell me about the setting? What does it mean to be the setting of the story? Exactly. Where does the story take place? This story, The Kissing Hand, takes place where? Where do you think it takes place? Yep, I would agree with you. In the woods, probably. Yep, in the woods, in the trees, sure, in the forest. Yes, yes. What time of day, what time do you think the story might be taking place? Do you think it might be taking place in the morning? Do you think maybe in the afternoon, in the nighttime? When do you think it's taking place? I would agree. It would be in the nighttime. Yes, yes. And so we talked about the characters and we talked about the setting. And we also talked about the main idea of the story being that it's okay to be nervous, friends. It's okay. We're all nervous at times and we can get through it. And there are going to be other people in our life that can help us. So I hope you all enjoyed this book as much as I did. I read this book to my little girls when they were little. It was their favorite. And so I hope you enjoyed it as well as I did. There are different versions of The Kissing Hand, so you can choose those as well. And it still has the same characters. Remember those characters again? Chester and Mrs. Raccoon. Sure, sure. They both have those. The other Kissing Hand stories have these characters as well. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will take every chance that you get to get a book. The more we read, friends, the smarter we get. Even though you're already very, very smart, the more we read, the better we get at it. So, grab a book, find a friend, maybe a stuffed animal, maybe a pet, maybe a grown-up, whoever. Read to them. And I hope you all enjoy reading as much as I do. And Chester. Thank you, friends.